everyone. Today's question is one that I received from multiple people, so it's obviously very important to you all. I'm not sure if this is something that happened organically or if it's the result of my social media exchange with Mayor Holt, but either way, it obviously matters to you all, so I'm going to answer. So the question is, does the property damage that has happened overshadow the protests against police violence? And I have to say I'm pretty confounded when I'm asked that question, because my immediate response is, why would it and why should it? We are all intelligent, compassionate people. There is no reason we should be placing the relatively small amount of property damage that we've seen here in Oklahoma City over the lives of human beings in our priorities. That's not to say we can't care about property damage. I mean, you know, the organizers from Black Lives Matter and other community members were out there cleaning up yesterday morning, even though the damage was done by people who were not affiliated with that group. I was out at the Black Lives Matter rally on Sunday, as where I saw several of currently elected officials that were out there, and I appreciate that, and I want to give them props for that, because it is important. It is important that we are listening and paying attention, and it is so important that I went into a crowd during a pandemic. That is how important this is. It is far, I don't see how anyone can legitimately assert that lower level crimes like property damage can or should overshadow that. You know, Oklahomans, we like to talk about how Oklahomans are so caring and compassionate, and we came together to help people in the bombing and in all these natural disasters because we're in Tornado Alley. And now we have elected officials like the mayor and the governor leading a narrative about property rights and essentially insulting the intelligence of the people, saying that no one's going to be able to focus on the fact that police violence is a problem because of some broken glass. And I quite frankly am offended on behalf of the citizens of Oklahoma at that assertion. And also, we know that our community is not in those buildings. They can be replaced. As I said, community members are working together to replace that damage, you know, to do the cleanup, also to fundraise for Dress for Success, to rebuild. But we can't replace those lives. And Oklahoma has one of the highest, Oklahoma City is, I believe, second in police brutality in this country, and the state of Oklahoma last year was listed as fourth. We can't pretend that's not happening. We can't ignore that because a few misguided individuals decided to smash some things. And it's ridiculous to assert that we can or we should. And I am absolutely appalled that any person in a position of leadership would first of all suggest that the public is incapable of paying attention to the more important problem because of that, and secondly would lead that narrative. If you examine the statements that were made by both the mayor and the governor, there's no real acknowledgement of the widespread problem that is absolutely unquestionable. I mean, this is something that's known throughout the world. It's not something that's open for debate or opinion. It's an established fact. You know, we have people dying in the streets. I lost a lot of sleep staying up monitoring the live feeds of the protests that have been happening. And as was stated yesterday in the press conference, I was watching people, and I had a lot of empathy for the journalist. I was watching, I believe at that time, KOCO, because I did watch all the news stations throughout the night, was completely baffled as to why they were being tear gassed. They were standing. They weren't doing anything wrong. That is protected by your First Amendment rights. And so we're seeing across the country and in our own state and in our own city, our government and our police forces violating our constitutional rights and stating quite plainly that they have the right to also take our lives without any sort of justice. And I absolutely believe in the people of this community and my neighbors that they are not going to let a relatively small amount of property damage overshadow that. You know, I saw thousands of people out there at that rally on Sunday. People do care and they are focused on the more important things, and I think it's important that we continue to focus our narrative on that, because unfortunately, as I said, our leaders such as the mayor and the governor are manufacturing this narrative that focuses on those lower level issues and completely ignores the more important ones, whether intentionally or, you know, it just being their priorities. I don't want to speculate, but either way it's damaging and harmful, and it's up to all of us to not fall for that and to focus our priorities where they need to be. So thank you for your time, and keep sending in your questions.